All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this started for our 1 mini training. Today, we're going over running a CMA using the RPR program that is available on your One Login dashboard. So you can see here on my presented screen, I have my One Login pulled up. And of course, once you first pull this up, your most frequent apps are shown on your dashboard. And if you don't see RPR, that's because you're not using it the most frequently out of all of your apps. So don't fret. I'll show you how to get there. The first thing you're going to do is go up here and click on apps. And if you still don't see it, it's because of this little drop-down menu. You're going to pull down on everything, and then you can scroll down to find RPR. Another thing that you can do from either your frequents or from your apps is just go to the search bar and put in RPR, and it will go ahead and pull up. So you just go ahead and click that tile, and it's going to open up your RPR dashboard. Now, just a side note is you have to be part of the Board of Realtors for you to have access to RPR. So even though being part of the Board of Realtors is optional with Realty One, if you have opted out of NAR, then you will not have access to RPR. Okay, so this is a tool that can only be used if you have your NAR designation. So once you enter in your credentials, I've been in here before, then you can just click sign in. If you have never signed into RPR before, you can go ahead and create a new account. It's going to ask you some information. It's going to have you connect your NAR number, and then it'll give you access to RPR. So just going to go ahead and click the sign in button and jump right into it. Oh, well, that's a problem. Let's try that again. Don't tell me we're doing a training and RPR is down. Let's try this again. It would be my luck. Let's try to get in again. There it goes. Okay, just a fluke. All right, so this is your dashboard for RPR, and we've done a separate training with learning how to navigate RPR. So if you have not watched that, that's in the roguagent.com blog. So you can go back and you can kind of check that out, where we went over all of the guided tool items up here, all of the reports, and we just kind of showed you how to navigate around and what each one of the functions do in RPR. But today specifically, we're going to be looking at how to run a CMA. So for those of you who are new, you can run a CMA based on a lot of different scenarios. So you can run a CMA if you're looking to, do a listing presentation on a house to give a seller an idea of what's happening in the market. You can also run one for a buyer who's looking to maybe make an offer on a property and wants to make sure that their offer kind of falls in line with what the market holds. Side note, understand that an RPR report, a CMA report, some people call them BPOs, are not appraisals. They should never be used for appraisal purposes, and they should never be presented as if they were appraisals. So this is just a look at the market to show us what has sold, what's on the market, what the trends are. Are the housing prices going up? Are they going down? Who our demographic party is for that home, for that neighborhood? Is it a first-time home buyer? Are we looking at move-up buyers? Are we looking at people that are traveling back and forth to work in the city? So that kind of helps us gauge who we are going to market the property to. So this is a marketing report, not an appraisal report, and not an establishment of real value. Only an appraiser can do that, okay? So just had to tell you that disclosure so that nobody gets confused, because I know we have seasoned agents on this call. We have new agents on this call, so just want to make sure we cover that. All right, so we're going to go through this hypothetical scenario that I have a listing on the market. A buyer comes in and they're like, okay, I love this house. I already pulled up a house for us. And this is a house that I currently have on the market, 1904 West Lawrence Avenue. And I pulled this one specifically because this lower part of West Lawrence Avenue, we have had sales, that are extremely high, and we have had sales that are really low. So it was really hard to kind of gauge where we should be strategically marketing this home, just because the values were so kind of wildly ranged. So I figured this one, and I didn't pull anything, but I figured this one would be a good one to use as an example to kind of see the see what RPR is pulling for this particular property. So we're going to use 1904 West Lawrence Avenue. We're going to pretend that I have a buyer. This isn't my listing. We have a buyer, and the buyer is interested in putting in an offer, but they are concerned because the house across the street sold for, you know, in the 200s, but the house behind it sold for like 50,000, you know, in the past. So if I was doing this for a buyer, just to kind of gauge the market, the very first thing I'm going to do is go to the top of RPR, and I'm going to go ahead and put in that street address, let it, you know, find its way. And then once you've located the address, go ahead and click on it. RPR is going to pull you a report based on the last information it has about the house. So it's going to give you almost like a contact card for this property. And you can see by the photo, oh my goodness, like this is the property now. And this is the property on RPR. So where did they get this photo? They got this photo from Google Maps is where they get these photos from. They're actually interactive, so you can pull them around and see what they look like here. You can also find the date, and it looks like they were last, that's the copyright. But if you pull this up, it'll show you kind of what the date tag on that was. So it looks like this home was purchased, the last recorded record of that was 11/6 of 2009, and it sold for $2,000. Yeah, Renee said, what a difference, right? Right, it looked a little rough then. So, all right, well, it's telling you it's 2,000, and then the square feet of the home is 2,614. And even though it looks like a very small house, I can tell you I've been in this one. It is much larger than it looks. It's pretty long. So that's probably pretty accurate. All right, so over here, it's telling you what the AVM is. And you can see I hit this little I button here. What's great about RPR is if you don't know what something is, it has these little icons that you can hover over, and it tells you the AVM estimates values are generated by multiple automated valuation models to provide an estimated property value. And AVM does not include MLS data, does not include MLS data, public record data, and maybe less accurate than the RVM. Okay, so what I do love about that is you can kind of toggle over. And basically what that is saying is that just like the Zestimate that a lot of clients are talking about, or their Redfin value, or any other website that they can go on, and it's giving them an estimated value, it's an AI algorithm that kind of works in the back end. There's no human to this. No human has determined that price. This is a computer generated price based on the trends around this property without taking its condition into value. Okay, so it's just kind of pumping out however they calculate that algorithm on average sale price. That's how it's kind of pumping out that information. Now here it's going to give you a range, and it looks like the range, the average range for the neighborhood is $12,000 to $139,000. And then what I also love is this AVM confidence score. You can see that the confidence score is very low. So you definitely want to notate this. If the confidence score is very high, then the value, the AVM value that it's giving you is probably pretty accurate. But if the AVM score is low, it's saying, hey, this is the best we got. Do your own research. We have no idea if this is accurate, right? All right, so here it's giving you some basic facts, and I just wanted to go over that contact card a little bit without taking too much time away from actually running the CMA value. So there's lots of things you can do in here with your pricing tools. There's property facts in here. And again, if you want to know how to update property facts, I'm going to show you a little bit when we do the CMA, but you can go back and watch that previous lesson that we did a couple months ago, and that'll kind of deep dive into that a little bit more. So when you want to do a CMA, and I would, because the confidence score is super low, it means, hey, we need a human to come in and kind of intervene. Go ahead below that, and you're going to click Create CMA. Next, the summary page is going to come up, and it's going to have you go through the steps. What I love about this, as opposed to maybe the MLS CMA, is that the RPR program is way more user-friendly. And it has specific disclosures on the CMA that are tailor fit to protect you against liability, and also follows ethics codes. So I always use RPR. If you're an MLS user and you love those CMAs, great, you can use them. But I'm a work smarter, not harder kind of gal. And I really like these. I really like these presentations. And not only that, I just think that they look a whole heck of a lot more modern and easy to read anyway. So step one is you're going to confirm the home facts. So this home hasn't been on the market for quite some time. So the computer doesn't know if the home facts are correct or not. You can see up here that a lot of information is missing, and it's not even connecting the current MLS and seeing that that home is on the market because so much of that information is missing. It knows that it has, that it's there. It knows that it has a house, but it doesn't know anything else about it. So we're going to go in here to confirm facts, and it's going to ask us to change anything that is inaccurate. So first thing it tells me is that it's lot and land, and it's not. It's a single family home. So we're going to make that change here. Property subtype, residential vacant land, and we are going to put SFR, meaning that it is a single family residential home. Now, total rooms. So let me think in my head, because I've been there. I walk in the door, and then there is the kitchen. There is a dining room. There is a living room. There is a bathroom, and then there is a den on the first floor. So I have 5 on the first floor. Then I know that I have 2 additional bedrooms and another bathroom on the second floor. So it looks like that's 8 rooms. So I'm going to put in 8. Total rooms above grade, 8. We have 3 bedrooms. We have 3 above grade, 2 full bathrooms. You see how we're breaking this down? And then we've got both are above grade. We have 0 partial bathrooms. Living square footage. Again, it is a pretty sizable home. And let me just go back to that MLS and see if it gets 1566. I think it's probably bigger than that. But since we have that from the tax record, that's what we're going to use. Building area, square feet. That is going to be hard to determine. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Lot size and dimension is probably accurate. Here we're getting down into some more nitty gritty here, and it's saying it doesn't have a garage, but we do have a garage. I don't know the square footage of the garage. I can tell you that it is attached and it's a 2-car garage, but unfortunately I don't know the square footage. So another thing we can do if we want to find that information is if the taxes were available, if the tax card was available to pull up, you can normally go into your tax card, and sometimes it'll tell you if a building permit was triggered for that property, and then it would give you the square footage on your building permit. In this case, we don't have it, so we're just going to go ahead and skip it. Style of this home, I'm going to put 2-story. Quality of construction, I don't know that rating, so I've never used it. All right, and porch, patio, or deck, we have a patio. All right, great. Next, I'm going to confirm facts. And you see what I did here is I only placed in the facts that I knew to be true. I did not put in any facts that I didn't know to be true. So I'm only confirming what I have to push the report, and I'm not guessing on these. So once you update those, eventually RPR will update its system as well. So you want to make sure that the information you're putting in here is as true and accurate as it can be. So when you're running your report, you're getting comps that are as close as possible to actual numbers, and that you're not leaving inaccurate data for the next person that comes along, whether that's a month from now or whether that's years from now. All right, next, step 2. Yes, Renee.
Okay, I have a question. So when you do the RPRs or the CMAs on MLS, when you initially do them for a listing and it comes back as one thing, and then you start noticing there's really no movement, and then you do like another analysis, and you do see, like you said earlier, trending down, prices are trending down. How do you navigate that?
I think it's all about communication with your client. You'd be able to tell them that prices are trending down.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to ask you why. And there's lots of factors that could that really could affect the trend down in the value. It could be that we don't have enough buyers in the market and that the market is unbalanced, or maybe we have too many sellers, not enough buyers, or not enough or too many buyers, not enough sellers. It could make the trend go up and down. Interest rates are a high effect on what properties will sell for. Presidential elections, every year for as long as I've been a real estate agent, somebody has asked, like, why is the market like so tough? Well, because we're in a presidential election year. That scares everybody off, and we see that downtrend right before we have any type of election going on. And one of the biggest factors that we face here in Pennsylvania is weather conditions. So you will see, typically, not always, but typically you'll have a softening during that winter season, and then you'll have a spike in that spring and summer season.
What would you do as far as the price though? Would you kind of like just stay and wait through like those periods, like right now, like the transitioning, or would you adjust according to the new like CMA prices?
Well, that's going to depend on your seller and your seller's desires and how aggressive they need to be with the sale.
Okay.
So I think it's really it's not for us to say, hey, you need to reduce your price, but I think it's our responsibility to give them all of the data and all of the information. Like, here's the pros, here's the cons. Something I like to do, especially like in artificial seasons where, winter has kind of hit us hard. We got a lot of snow recently. We haven't had any showings. Let's play the SEO game. And instead of reducing the price by $5,000, because we know that the winter weather has been crappy, like we had, in December and January this year, it was pretty slow. And nobody wanted to come out. So I like to play the SEO game, and I say, okay, well, I'd like to see a $5,000 reduction, but instead of doing 5, let's do $1,000 every 2 weeks. And we stop that reduction in price if we get an offer. Because every time we refresh that price or have an open house or change something with that listing, the algorithm, when it pulls to sites like Zillow and Realtor, it then bumps it to the top. And if somebody has saved that property, that third-party site is then shooting them out an email that says, hey, something has changed. Hey, price reduced. Hey, open house. Hey, we've got new photos. And it's really kind of triggering your marketing that you really don't have to pay for. You're going to make the adjustment anyway because the price needs to come down. But again, it goes to like what your clients really need. So if your clients need it sold fast, it's not going to matter. You're going to have to make the price more attractive in a lower market. But if they're in no hurry, I would play the SEO game with it and use that to your advantage. Even a $500 deduction in price, if they're willing to make it, can really make one heck of a difference. So, all right, next step is to search for comps. So I'm going to go in here and click the Find Comps button. And then this is going to pull up your search criteria. So if you see here on the left-hand side, property types, it's asking you what types of property you're looking for. I'm going to uncheck lot and land because, again, my information was wrong, and I'm going to go to single family. And then it's going to ask you what type of comps you want. Remember, this is not an appraisal. So an appraiser is going to look at sold comps, but we are not appraisers. So we are looking at market data. We want to know what the historical and current market data is so that we can accurately market and sell the home for them at the right asking price. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this checked for active for sale, pending, active, under contract, and closed. Okay. Below that, you can search your off-market dates. So you can tell it within the last 3 months, within the last 6 months, within the last 12 months. Now, like Renee had mentioned, if you're looking as to why the home hasn't sold, if the market has softened in this neighborhood, or maybe something happened, maybe, I think about what city, Aldi's just slapped a new building on farmland, like right across the street from your house. Well, that could depreciate the value of your home. So if you're looking for updated value, I would say within the last 3 months or within the last month is a good report to pull. However, when you're initially looking at that property, because remember, I have a buyer that wants to make an offer, they just don't know what price, I'm going to look kind of way out, and I'm going to look within the last 12 months because I want to make sure if they're putting in a full price offer that the possibility of an appraiser coming in and providing comps and values for this are at least within the realm of possibilities so that they're not wasting their appraisal money, and that way they're not overpaying for the home. All right, then it's going to ask you what comps to pull, like what comparables are you going to pull? So this started at 2, and I think that's kind of like the default, but this is a 3-bedroom. So I'm going to pull that I want only 3-bedroom comps, baths between 1 and 2, square footage, that's fine. I never put in lot size with, kind of inside city houses, because sometimes that screws up the data. But if you're looking for like something that has a lot of acreage or a really unique property, you would want to use that in acres. Acres works really good when you're looking at like farmland and stuff like that. Square footage of lot size kind of screws it up because there's not a whole lot of data in there. So I would suggest unchecking that, but keeping an eye on that when you're looking at comps, just to make sure it's not kind of like way outside of what you're looking at. All right. I don't search by price range because I want to get a true value of what it's looking like. And then I check my map. So I'm looking, this is Elwood City area. So I'm going to position my map. And the reason why I'm doing this is just on the line between Elwood City School District and Riverside. So if I keep the house in the very middle of the map, it's going to pull Riverside comps. It may even pull some Beaver Falls comps because it's in a little bit of a weird area. So I'm going to pull my map down and make sure that I'm cutting those areas out of my search parameters. And then I want this to pull only potential Elwood City comps on this side of town. Does that make sense? If I'm losing anybody, holler at me. All right, then I'm going to click search. Next, it's going to give me a map and show me where all of my comparable properties are. And it's going to pull those comparable properties down below. Now, remember, I warned you that this has really high comps and really low comps, which is why my buyers want me to pull this report. So you can see here that the house across the street I was telling you about, 1855 West Lawrence Avenue, sold for $205, $205,000. But then we have this one on 15th Street in Elwood that sold for $5,000. And we have this one that's 103. We have this one that's 112. So the comps are all over the board, right? They're all over the board. So what I'm going to do is I know that this was an appropriate sale. It's literally right across the street. It's a very comparable size. It's right on the high traffic, the same as this one. It has a garage because I've already looked it up. The buyers asked me about it, so I'm going to put that in as a comp. Okay. Very little information about these. I'm looking at this Beaver Avenue. It's probably another one of the closest. Now it's further into town. This one does not have a garage because I've already looked that up. And if you want to look it up, all you have to do is hit this little button here and it's going to pull up those property details. So you can take a look at that and kind of gauge, what the house is going to be, comparison to yours. But I'm going to collect that one as a comp. Now, here is the actual listing. So I'm not going to touch that one. Oh, here's one, 1205 Crescent Avenue, 130. Very comparable. Maybe not as nice because it's kind of dated, but it has a huge 2-car garage out the back. So that could be a good comp. And then we have this one at 1003 Wayne Avenue. So I have not looked at this one. Let's pull it up and let's see here. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And let's look at the photos as far as, definitely not the same condition. So that's not going to be a comp. I can tell here, even though it's hard to see, we've got damaged drywall, we've got water damage. Oh my, that's a hot mess. So we're not going to include that one. All right, so I've got 3 pretty good comps here that are within the, a block or 2 away. So I'm going to go update, valuation, and close for this exercise. And I can tell you that you should be pulling at least 3 comps to get a good average number. But if there are more comps available, the more the better. So if you end up with 6 comps, 7 comps, great. Use as much data as you can to get a really good average number. And the more comps you have in there, the more comprehensive your report will be. So next, if you want to, you can make adjustments to the comps. So this home here closed, and I can tell you that it was pretty close to this one. So we're looking at 1230 Beaver Avenue. I would say that this one here, I don't know what the condition is, but let's just say, for example, let's say this one here, I think the comp weighting on this one should be a lot higher because it is the neighboring property. So I'm going to put that at 50%. And then this one here, I'm going to put 25%. And then this one here, let's do that at 30, 20. What do I got to put that in at? 20. I can't even type today. 25. There we go. All right. So we're going to apply and we're going to update. And you see what I did is I just said this one's most alike and closest. This one's a little different. It's about 25% of what my house is. This other one is close, but it's about 25% of what my house is. So according to this report, the average result of the sales for this area is 163. So 163. This tells me when I present this to the buyers that even though the list price for this property is $199.9, if they want to write an offer, that their offer net, not gross, net should be 163. And what do I mean by net? I mean net, if you need seller's assist, you add it on top. If you need buyer's commission, you add it on top. If you need a home warranty, you add it on top. So, but it looks like 163 is the average price per comps that, would be a good starting point for them to write their offer. Okay, doesn't mean that's where it's going to land. It just says if they need an average, that's what the data supports. Start there and see what happens. But we do have a comp as high as 205. So I'm pretty confident, even if we go back and forth, that you're going to be okay. But don't go over 205, please, because then you're definitely overpaying for the home. So next you click create report. And there's a bunch of reports that you can select from. There's a property report, seller's report, property flyer, valuation, and you can customize these and look at the examples. I'm not going to do that here because that does take a lot of time. You can do that on your own and just find the report that works best for you. You can personalize your report with somebody's name and a message. You can download the report and you can also email it. So for this example, we're going to go ahead and just run the report as a PDF. And it's going to say report generation. Great. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And it's going to take a minute or two. You can see it kind of working here for that report to be generated. So just give it a few minutes and then we'll finish up with a quick overview of the report it gives you. But like I said, so we're going to download the report here. And here is the customized report. Now, if you set up your profile correctly, it's going to give you the information here. Here is your RPR. This tells you that, the property, it's going to tell you the results of the sales comparison analysis. It's also going to give that AVM. So you'll want to tell the clients like, hey, this is the AI generated. This is what the manual is. Take each for what it is. This has all of the disclosures that you need in there. And then it gives them everything you did in that system. So it's showing all your work. Remember how we were in middle school and we had to learn how to do like long math and you weren't allowed to use a calculator. And the teacher always said on your test, you must show your work. Well, this is why your teacher always told you that, because in life, you must show your work. So this gives all the work in a very beautiful presentation for your client so they can see what's going on in their neighborhood when it comes to sales and how they compare to their property so they can make an educated decision. This also helps you as a real estate professional really know what your competition is, who has your competition listed, and how you can market your property to the right demographic at the right time using the right resources. Okay. Any questions on running an RPR? Any questions? No? You guys are quiet, Shay.
I have one. So I missed the beginning because I lost track of time and I'm like, crap, let me jump on. So you did a property search and then how did you, which one it seems like you did the valuation workbook. Is that what you did? Because usually I do like a seller's report or,
It just depends on the circumstance. Yeah, we did a CMA today. This training was recorded, so it'll be up on the blog as well later on this afternoon if you want to rewatch the beginning. I've been getting pretty good at recording these meetings because I know a lot of people are not able to pay attention to the whole thing or watch the screen.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. I'll have that up this afternoon. Yeah, Amy.
So like the example that you used, that property was totally redone. Would you use the pictures and can they be changed like in this report? Do you know what I mean?
So I don't know that that's a good question. I don't know that the photos can be changed.
Okay.
I know that the photos can be omitted from the report by going into customization. Maybe if you go into customize, it may allow you, but I don't know the answer to that. I'll try to find out for you.
That's okay. I can Google, mess around in there. I just didn't know if you knew if that was.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain just because they use that Google Street Map and it hadn't been updated. So but I do know that each page can be customized.
Yeah.
If you want to customize, if you don't want historical photos in there, you can take them out. If you don't want property photos, and it allows you to really condense your report. But one thing it won't allow you to remove is anything that you are required for your board or for ethics to remove. So some of the data just must remain. So, and I love RPR because it doesn't allow us to do anything stupid in there. So
that helps. Good. Good. Then my other thing was at the very beginning of this, I don't know if you go back to home, the address that I put in, it's pulling up RVM and yours was saying AVM, right?
Yes. Yeah. So if we go back to home,
go ahead.
So if we go back to home and we go back into here,
yeah,
it'll tell you right here that an AVM is AI generated, and that the RVM that the RVM is more accurate and the AVM may be less accurate because the data is not there. So nobody ever went in to confirm the data. So I've confirmed the data for the first time on this property. And I specifically picked this one because I hadn't done it. I went on the MLS and I did this one.
Okay.
When establishing a list price, just because this is a family member's home. This is my dad's home. And I have tried running these reports for him. He doesn't look at them anyway. So I old schooled my original one on this one. But yeah, they don't have enough data. So you have an AI generated value.
Oh, so then if you have the RVM, it's better. So
yes,
you can't switch between the two. You would want the RVM anyway, if there's one available.
Yeah, the RVM would be a better indication of value.
And it's going to bring it up if there's one available or someone confirmed, but then you could still go through and confirm number of rooms and all of the things.
Yes, you should always go through and confirm, even if they're as accurate as they can be, just confirm that information, but you're still going to get a confidence score too. So your RVM will have that confidence score over here, and it will tell you how accurate it thinks the system is. But again, just kind of take that for what it is. I mean, we live in an AI generated world, and it does cut down on our time to do things. But as you can tell, if you've ever AI'd your headshot or an image, sometimes you come out with an extra finger. So just double check the work. So, all right, that is it for me today. Don't forget, we actually have 2 trainings today. Our next training, and I know it's weird to have 2 in one day, but we do have another mini training today on branding with Rate My Agent. So Rate My Agent is going to be doing a presentation. I will be there because I also need some training on Rate My Agent. But they're going to be presenting their platform and showing you all what your free tools are and how you can be using that for marketing, branding, and testimonials, and to also help you improve your Google Analytics when it comes to your real estate business. So join me for that online, 1 o'clock. It is a Zoom link. It is not a Google Meet link. So make sure you're using the link that is in your email in the description. All right. That is it for me. I will see you guys later on this afternoon.
Thanks.